What's good, y'all? It's your boy Sean Peter Bluff God. Hey! And we are back again with another reaction, another One Piece reaction at that. And today, Best Generation will be telling us the 5 strongest devil fruits. Because the title of the video we are reacting to today is the 5 strongest devil fruits. Pretty much what I just said, right? From Best Generation. Before we get into that, make sure you guys hit that like button. Also, subscribe and hit that bell for notifications. Follow me on Twitch so you can catch my live streams live. Also, follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And also, join my community. Join the Discord. All of these will be in the description box below. So go check them out. So anyway, we are talking about the 5 strongest devil fruits. Now, this is one of those topics I've thought about, right? I've considered. I've never actually narrowed it down to what are the 5 though, right? Like I have an idea of what I think some of the strongest devil fruits are. Like if we're just talking about in general, I would probably go, especially with the reveal of Luffy's devil fruit that we always called the Gumu Gumu no Mi, but the real name is the Hito Hito no Mi model Nika. I would probably put that up there in the top 5, potentially. Well, I would put it up there, right? Like before we learn the secret of this devil fruit, I probably wouldn't have put it up there. Like before I always kind of consider it a very mediocre devil fruit, but I always thought of it as Luffy just being very good at making the best of this mediocre devil fruit. But in Wano, we learn that things ain't always what they seem, right? We learn that things aren't always what they seem because it's not a rubber devil fruit. Really, it's a zone devil fruit with rubber properties. And after the awakening of it, we learn that Luffy can even induce like the rubber properties on external things, which I think that's something that we always kind of guessed, right? We always kind of figured that when Luffy awakened his devil fruits, he'll be able to maybe rubberize the environment, right? But at the level that we seen against Kaido it was beautiful. I won't lie, it was beautiful. But yeah, so what else? What other devil fruits would I consider up there? The Goro Goro no Mi, Whitebeard's devil fruit is. I'm trying to think the Goro Goro or the Goro Goro because I know one is Enel's, one is Whitebeard's, but Whitebeard's devil fruit, right? The Trimmer fruit, said to be the devil fruit with the potential to destroy the world, or at least, Whitebeard was always called the man capable of destroying the world, right? Because of his devil fruit. And we seen the scale of what it can do, right? We seen the scale of what it can do. So I would probably put that up there. Big Mom's I think it's the Soda no Mi. Bruh, she could take people's souls, manipulate souls, create life almost, like put souls in inanimate objects and give them life. She can put the souls in herself and make herself stronger. I mean, bro, like she put souls in like elemental things and she get like weather type abilities. Like, bruh, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I'll probably put Big Mom's devil fruit up there. I'm kind of tempted to put Kaido's up there as well, but I don't know. I don't know if I'll put, because I think there's some other devil fruits that hacks wise might be passed. Kuma, the potential of Kuma's devil fruit. That might just be my bias talking for Kuma though. You know what I'm saying? That might just be my bias talking towards Kuma. But I could put Kuma's devil fruit up there as well. You know what I mean? Blackbeard's, the darkness fruit. It can nullify other devil fruits. That's a dangerous technique to have. the darkness, all that. Look, man, it's a lot of devil fruits. I would even put. I kind of want now. And this is gonna be my bias talking again, kind of like Kuma Kizaru, right? Being light. You know, like how dangerous is being light, especially if you can travel at light speed. Like, just imagine being able to travel at the speed of light. Like, that's pretty deadly right there. It's a lot of devil fruits. It's hard to narrow it down to just 5, but we're about to hear what Best Generation has to say. But yeah, anyway, let's get into the video. This is from Best Generations. The link will be in the description box for the YouTube people. Let's get into it.
Yo, hello everybody, how you are doing? Today we got a top 5 list, the top 5 strongest devil fruit there are. And before we get started, one has to establish the paradigm of this list. Because when the paradigm for an individual is different for another, the entire list changes. And I will set an...
That's a good point. That is a good point. Because... again, because when it comes to these devil fruits, there's so many different ones. Like, you know, you can make a case for almost any of them why they should be in the top 5. So, but it's good he want to create some parameters to hit for his list, right? For his specific list, because somebody else's list might be different because they might have different parameters. Like me personally, I look at things like potential, right? Like the potential of how dangerous that's why me personally, I would put Kizaru. I would possibly put Kizaru up there because, like, being able to move at the speed of light, like, cause speed kills. You know, if anybody read comic books like DC and Marvel, and you guys know about Flash. Flash is probably one of the most OP individuals, and that's because it's how fast he can move. He can move faster than the speed of light, you know, but just saying.
An example, and I think you will know exactly what I mean after that. When, for example, a weak individual like Buggy consumes his devil fruit, of course, it's not that strong. Yeah, he can split himself apart. It's really no big deal whatsoever. Though, if you would consume something like the light devil fruit from Kizaru, oh boy, things would be completely different. Buggy would be able to blast off lasers like from the tip of his fingers. That is a huge freaking deal.
Bro, I am glad Best Gen brought up Kizaru, because that's what I'm saying. Like, you don't even have to be like that fruit. You don't even have to be that strong. If you got that devil fruit, I think like with Kizaru specifically, he had, you know, he's just kind of chill. He has very a nonchalant attitude, so he just kind of uses the devil fruit, right? But if you give that devil fruit to somebody serious, like let's say Akainu had that devil fruit, boy oh boy, I think he would be more dangerous with Kizaru's devil fruit than he is with the magma devil fruit. Me personally, I'm just saying.
Like, what person and what kind of growth they have completely changed the value of the devil fruit. So,
and that's not to say Kizaru is not a savage. That man is pretty savage. He's just super nonchalant and like lazy, right? So just had to say that.
For this list, we assume that the person who consumed it is somebody like on Monkey D. Garb / Dragon / Luffy level. Basically, a complete Haki master. Knows all known shades of Haki, has incredible destructive capabilities, like with, for example, Conqueror's Coding, Rio, all of that good shit. And that will be the paradigm of this video. The person who consumes the devil fruit is basically maxed out on Haki, and he fights against a person who is also maxed out on Haki. And they're not fighting like from one side of the planet to the other side of the planet. That would be ridiculous. It's basically a one-on-one fight on an island that is indestructible, and that's how we will judge this devil fruit list. And of course, the last thing before we get started, this is just my opinion, okay guys? I could be wrong on stuff, I could have forgotten something, but I'm pretty confident actually with this paradigm that this is the ultimate top 5 devil fruits list. So let's freaking go!
Let's go.
Number 5.
Number
And we
5,
start
what we
off
got?
with an insanely strong candidate. Of course, it's top 5, so it's already like one of the strongest devil fruits.
Yeah.
And that is the Berry no Mi of Bartolomeo. This fruit is sick. It allows you to create a barrier that
Berry no Mi. I mean, I haven't really thought of it. I'm not discrediting it though, the berry, because bro, like that barrier is seemed pretty indestructible. We seen Odin try to get through it when he tried to attack Orochi and he couldn't do it. And if you do think about the possibilities of being able to create barriers, that's dangerous. That's dangerous. Like, just imagine creating a barrier in somebody's throat where their oxygen can't get to the lungs, right? Like they can't breathe because the oxygen can't get past this barrier to the lungs. You could off people like easily. Or if you just put somebody in the barrier and like if there's no oxygen in there, bro, like come on, man, like it's the ultimate defensive devil fruit, but it has some very potentially strong offense capabilities, right? So it's not one I would have considered, but thinking about the potential, I can see why it would be on here. So I'm not mad at it.
That you can change in form that is basically indestructible. No attack can get past it. Of course, it creates a barrier. It's in the name. So that is freaking sick. Especially if you consider that we have seen the extent of that ability in the Odin flashback. Because the previous user of that devil fruit created a barrier, a sphere around Orochi, and basically contained like 3 people in it, and they can't get hurt at all. That's fucking insane. That's fucking insane to have this ability in a fight where you can basically get out of jail anytime you like put your fingers together. It nullifies basically all offensive attacks. Yeah, it is what it is. So yeah, that's why I think it deserves the number 5 spot. Number 4.
I mean, like I don't know if I'd put it in for my number 5, but again, an argument can be made. So I'm not going to say it shouldn't be. You know, I think an argument could be made for it.
Oh, and this is probably a surprise for a lot of people because quite frankly, this almost could be number 1. But I think I couldn't justify to put it above on the list because the other candidates are so freaking huge. And the devil fruit I'm talking about is the Nico no Mi from Bartolome Kuma.
Thank you. Hey, best gen. I rock with it because I would probably put. I feel as though it's such an underrated devil fruit that don't get talked about much. But I would like just thinking about the possibilities. I would put it there too because it repulses anything. So defensive wise, kind of like the Berry no Mi, it could be almost hard to just get past just the defensive aspect because any attack you throw at him, if he uses his paws, he could just repel it somewhere else, right? He could repel it somewhere else. And all the other things, like what can't he repel, right? Can you repel somebody's soul out their body? Can you repel maybe somebody's abilities from their body? The devil fruit out of somebody's body? Like we seen he was able to repel Luffy's pain. Like, bro, pain, you can repel pain. That's like a very intangible thing, but he was able to repel it. So if he could repel like intangible stuff like pain, what else can he repel? You know what I mean? Bruh, very underrated devil fruit. Very underrated devil fruit. And I think I personally do agree, and I do believe it deserves to be in the top 5. I even said it like before we started reacting to this video that I would put it on. It would be in my top 5. You know.
And oh boy, this fruit.
It's also why I put Kuma up so high when I power scale. I personally think Kuma could be like a top 10 most strongest character. Top 15 maybe. You know, because his just off the strength of his devil fruit. You know what I mean? But then again, I would really have to look at all the other strong characters, because you know, maybe after doing that, like doing some thinking about who I think are the strongest characters in the series, maybe I might rethink putting Kuma up there. But there was at one point where I would put Kuma in the top 10, top 15, at top 15 minimally.
Is so flexible. It gives you palms that allow you to deflect everything and anything, including yourself and other human beings. Yes, you can use it to pump up the atmosphere, create shock blasts. You can repel yourself and move instantaneously. You can use the palms to hit your opponent's attack and deflect it to himself, no matter how strong the attack is. Yes, including Akaino's Magma, Kizaru's Laser, Whitebeard's Shock Blasts. Anything can be deflected with it. It's freaking nuts. And yes, it is very similar to the Berry no Mi in the sense that it's invincible to a certain extent, by which you can nullify any attack of the enemy if you do it right. But additionally, on top of that, you have instant movement basically by repelling yourself, and you can insta-win any fight by hitting your opponent and basically sending him to the end of the world. So if you don't want to fight, you don't have to. That's how freaking hacks this devil fruit is. It's pretty cool, right?
Yo, facts.
And yes, these two devil fruits, you probably didn't
facts.
expect them, but the next candidate is something you are very...
Bro, just imagine if Kuma was on the roof against Kaido and Big Mom, right? And that part where they was like, yo, we gotta separate these two. Just imagine having Kuma up there. He was like, all right, I got y'all. Bam, send Big Mom back to her island. Bro, yo. And the only thing, I say I will put Kuma up high on the strongest character list. I think the only thing that keeps him, that nerfs him, that maybe will keep him out of that, is the fact that he lost his humanity and he's more just straight up like a cyborg, right? So he probably won't have that human element that makes you a super great fighter, because he's just kind of working on off of a program. You know what I mean? He's working off of a program. Like, you put some orders in his program and he just follows that program, and he can't think flexibly. He's not flexible on his thinking. So unless Vegapunk makes him, you know, because some AI is adaptable, but he doesn't seem like he might be adaptable. So that to me might keep him from being his ultimate potential. You know, that might keep him from his ultimate potential as far as a fighter. But I think before he became a cyborg and joined the Shichibukai, I think Kuma was probably a freaking threat on the seas with the revolutionaries. You know, they call him the tyrant, right? Yeah, we know he was a king, but he was called a tyrant to people outside of his kingdom. Probably because he was a monster. Probably because he was a monster.
familiar with and have probably been waiting for. And that is number 3. The Gora Gora no Mi, Whitebeard's Devil Fruit, the ability to create quakes. And quite frankly, many people don't really understand how this Devil Fruit works, and that makes sense. When Whitebeard uses his Devil Fruit, he takes his punch, he hits the atmosphere, it cracks, and that shock that goes through the atmosphere creates energy, and that leads to quakes through this emission of energy that is created. And that same energy can be used to like punch somebody, and this guy literally cracks up. I'm not kidding, these people literally cracked up. And the way I would phrase it to simplify it, even though it's kind of not simpler, it's kind of more complicated, is that the Gora Gora no Mi allows you to change the room or to influence the room with energy. And I'm not talking about lore here, I talk about a physical sense, like Einstein is talking about. Time and space. It allows you to influence space. So when Whitebeard hits the air, he influences the space and allows that energy that he has emitted through his fist to be transferred to the place he wants to, and that creates the emission of energy and ultimately quakes. I would say it's more of a space-time bending Devil Fruit. Yeah, it's a little bit more
Bro, just look at what it does. Like in the back, I know he's kind of blocking the panel, but look at how it just changed the landscape. And look, I agree. Like I've said earlier, I would probably put Whitebeard's Devil Fruit in there as well. I get it. I think that's a no-brainer. You know, they even say Whitebeard was capable of destroying the world, and that's because of his Devil Fruit. You know, and Blackbeard really wanted Whitebeard's Devil Fruit as well, right? So it's like, I think it just speaks for itself, just the overall destruction and the scale of his Devil Fruit ability. I just think on that alone, it's hard to put any other Devil Fruit over it, honestly. When you just look at the scale of destruction it could cause, bro, it deserves to be in the top 5. That's all I'm gonna say. You know, and we don't know if it could go even a bigger scale, right? The global scale, because it was said that he was capable of destroying the world. So if that's the case, that makes me think that he's capable of affecting the whole globe with his Devil Fruit. It's hard. It's like one of them things that's hard to prove, because it's like, why would Whitebeard do such a thing? Why would he destroy the world that he lives on? Because if he does that, he'll also kill himself. So it would be like one of them stupid things to do from Whitebeard. But having the potential to do that is still pretty impressive. You know what I mean? It's just, why would he do that? So if we don't know for sure, like, look at DBZ, right? We had Boo, you know, Majin Buu, Kid Buu, for example. When he became Kid Buu, first thing he did was destroy the world. So we knew he could destroy the world, but with him, he can regenerate. He's pretty much like, he can't die from being in space. So him being in space doesn't affect him. So he doesn't mind destroying the planet. Same with Frieza. Frieza doesn't mind destroying the planet. But Goku can't breathe in space. You know? So it would be kind of stupid for Goku to destroy the planet that he's on, because he can't breathe in space. He would have to destroy it and teleport out, right? So, you know, I haven't kept up with Dragon Ball Super, so maybe there's some change that now he can breathe in space. But I'm just talking back in Dragon Ball Z, right? Back in the old series. So, we've never seen Goku destroy planets, because one, is just out of his character. Why would he want to destroy a planet? Two, he would die in space if he did destroy a planet. So it'd be stupid as well. Same with Whitebeard. Why would he destroy a planet? He doesn't seem like that type of person. And two, he would die as well. But being capable is still an impressive feat.
complicated, but at the same time it simplifies it. And I think it's only like referred to as the Quake Devil Fruit, but I think that's not 100% accurate, and it's only a way that people describe the Devil Fruit. So, given that it's a space-time Devil Fruit, it's probably Hex, and of course it is. It literally has the ability to destroy the world. If enough energy is used with this Devil Fruit, it can completely destroy or bust the planet. And of course, we don't forget the criteria. The person who is using it is at peak physical strength, so he can basically do the max extent of the Devil Fruit, which includes destroying the world. So that's why for me, this Devil Fruit undoubtedly is the number 3 spot on this list. And now we have 2 more Devil Fruits, and you might be thinking, what could be stronger than the Gura
Big Mom's
It's
gonna be
impossible,
next.
right? It's the max destructive capability one could have. And yes, that's true. But for one of them, I'm totally cheating, but at the same time, I think I'm making a point. And I'm talking about number 2. And that Devil Fruit is Foxy's Noro Noro no Mi. And before you leave this video, give me a chance, okay? Give me a shot here, okay? It's
now listen. I've said before that I believe that Foxy's Devil Fruit is very underrated. You know, I think he is just not the right person for it. If you gave that Devil Fruit ability to somebody else, I believe it would be far more powerful. I believe it would be way better utilized, right? So I do think it's a very, I would probably put it in the top 10, 15 maybe. Top 5 though, I don't know if I'll put it in the top 5, but I'll let him explain. But before I let him explain, the reason why I do like his Devil Fruit and think it's a very, very OP Devil Fruit, because, all right, kind of going back to comics, right? We go back to DC. We know Flash, right? We know the character Flash. I talked about Flash being able to move at the speed of light. But he has this enemy called Zoom, a.k.a. Hunter Zolomon, right? Now, Hunter Zolomon, I think it's Hunter Zolomon or Solomon, one or the other. Hunter is most of Flash's enemies, at least like the ones that are kind of like similar to him, because he kind of dresses like Flash, except he wears yellow, right? Most of them were speedsters. I mean, there's some other villains that aren't speedsters, like the guy he has like a freeze gun or whatever, and then I think Gorilla Grodd or whatever. But Hunter Zolomon, he's similar to a speedster, but he's not a speedster because he doesn't move fast. His ability is he manipulates time. He slows or he speeds up his own personal time, right? So it replicates him moving fast, but he's not moving fast. He's just speeding up his personal time, and everything else around him is just moving slower, right? So it's to a degree that even Flash moves slower to him. So it seems like he runs faster than Flash, but he doesn't because he's not a speedster. Instead, he's speeding up his personal time to where Flash is actually going in slow motion and everything else around him is going slow motion. That's kind of how Foxy's ability worked. And this guy, Hunter Zolomon, has been giving Flash so much trouble. And I'm talking about the fastest Flash, Wally West, for you comic book nerds, you know what I'm saying? Who's the fastest Flash? This is his enemy, right? So he pretty much is able to get the best of Flash most of the time. Matter of fact, he dominates the Justice League. Superman, Flash, Green Lantern, Wonder Woman, all these guys. He dominates them because it's just when everybody's moving at a slower rate than you, and you can pretty much do what you want. Just saying, it's deadly, and that's kind of Foxy right there. That's how I kind of look at Foxy's ability, but it doesn't work to the extent that Hunter Zolomon's work. But let's let Best G explain his reason, because I'm curious why he's number 2.
Sounds insane. I know, it sounds insane. But if the devil fruit before could influence space, this devil fruit influences time in a physical sense. Because the person who is hit by that beam that is emitted through this devil fruit gets slowed down for 30 seconds, and the further within the 30 seconds, that person gets faster until he returns to normal speed. And all the damage that's accumulated during that process will occur at the end at the same time. So if somebody who is like Luffy, he will come close that he can reach any opponent. And once he reaches them, he can use this beam on them that slows them for 30 seconds. In 30 seconds, if you talk about this top tier, you can assume that basically everybody can kill everybody. If Luffy...
My argument would be, you have to be able to hit people with that beam though. And I'm not saying somebody like Luffy couldn't, right? But people can dodge, you know what I'm saying? People could try to continue to dodge your beam. So, you know, you would have to be pretty accurate with that beam at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? If you're fighting somebody who's too fast and you can't hit them with that beam, you know, it's not going to be as effective, you know. But something like Whitebeard, you don't have to be accurate. You know, it's not something you necessarily have to be accurate with. But I do get his logic, and he does have a point at the end of the day. He does have a point. If you could like slow somebody down for 30 seconds and do it, have your way with them, I don't mean that in the you know, the way it might sound, but like if you could just do whatever you want to him, like as far as attacking them, you know, it's very dangerous. It's very dangerous. I could see why he puts it at top 2.
Hits with all his strength for 30 seconds into Kaido's head, his head will probably explode. Even if somebody like Zoro has 30 seconds, he can cut off Kaido's head. So when this ability hits you and you have enough destructive capabilities, as with, for example, Conqueror's Coding, you can basically kill anybody. It's kinda in a way a one-shot ability if we take the criteria of this video into consideration that such a person will use this devil fruit. And yes, you can maybe put this on the number 3 spot and the Goro Goro no Mi on the number 2 spot, and I think honestly that's fair. But for me personally, this devil fruit basically...
I would probably put it at the number 4 spot. I would, like, on his list, at least if I was to change up his list, I would probably put it in the number 4 spot.
Basically contains no risk, and if the right person is using it, it will almost certainly always give a one shot, unlike with the Goro Goro no Mi, where you can miss, where you have to land the blow, all of that stuff. That all doesn't matter if somebody is slowed down on that level, and then you can finish him off. And yes, Oda intentionally gave this fruit somebody like Foxy, who's basically weak and who was almost able to defeat the main character, Monkey D. Luffy. So it already tells you that this fruit is freaking nuts. So now it's time for the number 1 spot. And quite frankly, you can't disagree with this choice. With the other ones, I don't mind if you disagree. You can have a difference of opinion. But in this case, you can't.
I'm assuming the darkness fruit.
Because there's no doubt whatsoever that the next devil fruit is the ultimate devil fruit. It is completely invincible unless you have the number 5 or 4 devil fruit on.
I'm thinking Sun God Nika or the darkness fruit. Even though I feel as though they both should be on the top 5. I believe both of them should be in the top 5. But I'm thinking it's going. I'm gonna say Sun God Nika. I'm going with that. Before we move further, I'm gonna go with Sun God Nika. But if I'm wrong, and it's the Black Darkness fruit, I'm okay with that. But if it's something else, then I'm like, what?
this list, you basically will lose. And that devil fruit is number 1, the Hobby no Mi of sugar. Of course, what other devil fruit could it be? It's completely unavoidable, quite frankly. If one has the Hobby no Mi.
I was not expecting that. I gotta disagree with this, and I'm not saying it's not hex. I get it, but the biggest downfall is you have to touch the person, which to me is just so limited that you have to touch somebody. Because if you have I mean, you would also have to have prior knowledge to it. Like if you don't have prior knowledge of it, you would probably go in and fight sugar and then get turned to it. So in that case, yes. But if you do have prior knowledge, which to me, like I don't care if you have prior knowledge to Whitebeard's devil fruit, it's still gonna be hard to get past. If you have prior knowledge to all the other devil fruits he talked about, they would still be tough to get past. But with sugar, if you have prior knowledge, all you have to do is just be distant. You just have to stay away from the person. You would have to stay away from the person, and you would have to hit them with long range shots, but if that person touches you or if you touch that person, yeah, that could be scary.
And you touch somebody, that person is turned into a toy, can't fight any longer, and then you can put a contract on that toy and make them your slave and do whatever you want. And as a side effect of that devil fruit, just a side effect, you have eternal youth. Presumably, yes, it's not stated it's eternal youth, but it's stated you remain in your youth. So if you don't die of old age, does it mean you have eternal youth? Yeah, you are not invincible, you still can be killed, but the cause of death can't be old age any longer, right? And that's not a hill I want to die on, but this is just a side effect of that devil fruit. So if you consume that devil fruit in your prime, you are forever in your prime. And whoever you touch, you basically defeat. That's the most insane devil fruit that ever existed. Nothing comes even close. Nothing even touches that ability. So I will defend this opinion forever. The Hobby no Mi is without a doubt the number 1 devil fruit. And quite frankly, after making this list, I realized there is no Zoan or Logia in this entire list. What the? So if I've missed out on any devil fruits, tell me in the comments. Tell me your opinion. What devil fruit is also hex, also OP, what should have been included, where I was wrong, all of that good stuff. Of course, this is the best generation. We like to have a debate, a discussion, a difference of opinion. So I truly appreciate it if you do so. But nonetheless, what the heck? Why are there no Zoans and no Logias? What's up with that? Is it because we're gonna get better mythical Zoans down the line and the truth about Awakening hasn't been revealed for Logias yet? Paramecia seem to be the superior devil fruits. I was surprised. I swear to God, I didn't plan this. This was not intentional. I made the list and then I realized, wait a second, it's all Paramecias. So yeah, tell me in the comments as well why you think that is, because I don't get it. And of course, like the video if you've enjoyed it and subscribe if you haven't already.
The reason why just to answer that question, like the reason why I think Paramecias, it's easier to put them in the top 5 like that, the way he did, is because they're so varied and random, right? Zones usually have certain properties, and Logias as well. They all have similar properties and similar limitations. You know what I'm saying? Like zones, you're usually like a animal or a something living. You're something else that's living, right? But Paramecias are so random. Like it could be like, hey, I could look at somebody and turn them into a pillow. Like that's how random a Paramecia is. So because of the randomness, it could go so many more creative routes that makes that ability hacks. You know what I'm saying? Like you could throw Robin's Devil Fruit in there, being able to sprout limbs in areas like just imagine putting a hand in somebody's throat and then they choke to death. Like that's pretty OP right there. Now I wouldn't have put the Hobby fruit at number one, maybe top five, maybe top 10. Top number one. Damn, I got like the sneeze that don't want to come out. I don't know if I'll put it at number one though. Like that's the one I do disagree with it, just because it's limited to having to touch somebody. And if you fight somebody who you can't touch, then like all that means nothing. You know what I'm saying? At least the other abilities that he has on the list, those abilities would affect anybody, right? Like the barrier no me, right? People, nobody would be able to get past your, unless they have an ability where they could phase through stuff like maybe Perona. You know what I mean? They wouldn't be able to get past your barrier. As far as we know, nobody's gonna be able to get past it. Kuma, it could repel anything. Anything, as far as we know. Anything. No matter who, no matter, I mean, even though you have to touch the person, yes. But even then, like, Kuma's ability almost gives you, the person, super speed because you can repel yourself to the person's location. You know what I mean? So it kind of makes up for that. Like, you know, if you're facing somebody who wants to play a distant game with you, you could literally repel yourself to that person. You know what I mean? And then Foxy's Devil Fruit, you could slow people down with like a little beam. Anybody, anything. You know what I mean? So, and the Goro on me, bro. Like you could destroy the world. Like I don't even know where to go. I don't even know what to argue after that, right? But let's finish this
already. Talk to you next time and have a very nice day.
Yeah, so make sure I give him a like. It's the boy Best Generations. All right, so yeah, good list though, good list. I do disagree with the hobby no me, the hobby fruit. I disagree with that being number one. I'm not against it being in the top 5 or even top. I mean, I'll probably put top 10, but I don't. You know, I think it is a very strong devil fruit, or it's a very OP, very haxed ability to have, very scary ability to have at that. So, you know, it is what it is, though. You know, difference of opinion, that's fine. You know what I mean? That's fine. But yeah, I would have probably put maybe Blackbeard's Devil Fruit in there or Luffy's Devil Fruit, but it might have to be a topic for another time. I might have to eventually make a tier list or something where we put devil fruits, where we rank devil fruits. That's something I do have planned for the future. I don't know when I'm gonna strike on that one, because the next tier list that I have might be like an arc tier list, like especially since we just finished Wano, so that might be the next tier list that we have. But I'm still do plan on having like a devil fruit tier list, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, y'all, that's the video right there. Make sure you guys hit the like button. Also, subscribe and hit that bell for notifications. Comment below what you think of this list. What do you think of his list? Do you agree with me on anything? Do you disagree with me on anything? Do you agree with Best Gen? Do you disagree? Let me know in the comments. Also, follow me on Twitch so you guys can catch my live streams as I do them live. Give me your opinion in real time. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, and also follow me, or also join the Discord. Join the Discord. And yeah, and also the link to this video will be in the description box with all the other links on my other social media as well. So yeah, anyway, y'all, it's your boy Sean P, the Bluff Guy, and I'm out of here. Peace.